There's this piece of technology that most of us use every single day, but we never actually see it. It's this invisible tunnel that makes working from anywhere, a coffee shop, an airport, your couch, not just possible, but secure. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how it all works.
Of course you have. We all do it. You pop open your laptop, you hop on that free public Wi-Fi, and you get to work. And it feels totally normal, right? But here's the thing. That feeling of safety, it's kind of an illusion. There's a hidden danger lurking on that open network. I mean, think about it. That network is public. Anyone else who's connected could potentially be snooping on your traffic, seeing everything you send and receive. It's basically the digital version of shouting your bank password across a crowded room. Yeah, not a great idea. So you can see how this is a massive headache for companies everywhere. How in the world do you protect all that sensitive corporate data when your employees are connecting from networks you can't trust? Well, the answer isn't magic. It's actually a really elegant piece of engineering, a private digital tunnel.
And this is where the hero of our story swoops in, the SSL VPN. It literally creates a private, secure, and totally encrypted tunnel for your data to travel through, right over the top of that sketchy public Wi-Fi. Think of it as your own personal armored highway on the internet.
Now, let's break down that name, Secure Sockets Layer, or SSL. If that rings a bell, it should. It's the S in HTTPS, the thing that gives you that little padlock icon in your browser. Now, technically, the modern name is TLS, but the concept is exactly the same. SSL VPNs just cleverly borrow this super trusted web technology to protect all of your work traffic.
And this is where the pure genius of it really shines. See, older VPNs like IPsec, they use these special weird ports that firewalls at hotels or airports just love to block. But SSL VPNs, they use port 443, the exact same one as all secure web traffic. So to that firewall, your VPN connection just looks like you're shopping on Amazon. It almost never gets blocked. So simple, but so smart.
Okay, so we've got the basic concept down, right? But here's the deal. SSL VPNs aren't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. They really operate in two main ways, depending on what you need to do. Let's call them the simple portal and the full office experience.
All right, first up we have web mode. And honestly, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Just imagine a single, secure web page that acts like a locked door into your company's network, and you open it right from your browser.
The best part about web mode is how simple it is. You don't have to install a single thing on your computer. That's why you'll often hear tech folks call it clientless. You just log into a web portal, and boom, you get a menu of bookmarks for the specific apps you're allowed to touch. It's super quick, easy, and it gives IT admins really tight control over who gets to access what. But what if you need more than just a few web links? What if you need the real deal? Using all your programs and files just like you were physically sitting at your desk. Well, for that, you need tunnel mode. Tunnel mode is the absolute powerhouse. It uses a small piece of software that creates a virtual network connection on your computer. Once that's running, your laptop acts as if it's literally plugged into a network port back at the office. The main thing to know is that everything just works. Any app, any file, any server. This is the gold standard for anyone working remotely on a regular basis. So let's just put them side by side real quick. Web mode, no software, limited access to just a few things. It's perfect if you're on a public computer and need to check in. Tunnel mode needs that little client app, but gives you the keys to the entire kingdom. It's for the serious remote worker. Two different tools for two very different jobs. Okay, tunnel mode sounds amazing. And it is, but it has this one little catch, which, funnily enough, leads to an even smarter feature, something called split tunneling. Just picture this for a second. You're connected in tunnel mode. So yeah, your work emails are going down that secure pipe, but so is the Spotify playlist you're listening to, and so is that YouTube video you have playing on your other monitor. Everything you do online has to take a round trip all the way to your company's network and then back out to the internet. You can imagine how that could create a bit of a traffic jam.
Yeah, that's what we call a full tunnel. And look, it's incredibly secure, no doubt. The company's security systems get to inspect every little bit of data, but it's also really inefficient. I mean, why should your personal Netflix binge have to clog up the corporate network? It just doesn't make sense.
And this is exactly what split tunneling was invented to solve. It acts like a smart traffic cop. It sees your sensitive work data and says, okay, you go down the secure VPN tunnel. Then it sees you're heading to YouTube and says, nope, you can go straight to the internet, have fun. The result is just a much smarter, much faster connection for everyone.
Of course, like with pretty much everything in tech, there's a trade-off. The big pro is performance for sure. Things feel faster for you, and you're not hogging the company's bandwidth. The con, though, is a potential security risk. Because that YouTube traffic is going straight to the internet, it's not being protected by all the company's high-tech security filters. So it's this constant balancing act between speed and absolute security.
So, we've gotten into the weeds of how this stuff works, but let's just zoom out for a second and appreciate just how revolutionary this technology has been for the way we all work today.
Because when you really boil it all down, the true magic of the SSL VPN comes down to just one simple number.
443. That's it. That is the port number that literally unlocked modern remote work. Because, like we said, port 443 is the universal standard for all secure web traffic. By cleverly piggybacking on this port, SSL VPNs basically put on an invisibility cloak. They just blend in, looking like normal web traffic, allowing them to sneak right past restrictive firewalls. No complicated rules, it just works everywhere.
And the impact of that is just enormous. This is the tech that truly made the work-from-anywhere culture possible. It's what makes bring-your-own-device policies not completely terrifying for IT departments. And it's how companies can give partners or contractors just a tiny, secure slice of access without handing over the keys to the whole castle.
You know, there's this quote that I think just nails it perfectly. An SSL VPN is like a digital drawbridge for a modern business. It stays up, protecting the corporate castle. But for a trusted user, it lowers on demand, granting them safe passage over the dangerous moat of the public internet, no matter where in the world they happen to be.
And that's really the key takeaway here. You may never see it, you might never even think about it, but the SSL VPN is one of the most important unsung heroes of our digital world. It's the silent guardian that makes our modern, borderless way of working not just possible, but safe.
And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. The SSL VPN was a brilliant solution for connecting us back to a central office, that castle. But now our applications are in the cloud, our data lives everywhere. That idea of a central castle is kind of disappearing. So the real question for the next decade is, what security model is going to evolve to protect us when there's no drawbridge left to guard?